What is up, wealth builders, and welcome back to another episode of The Bemused, where we talk all things personal finance for young adults like myself. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. So today's topic: how much student loans is really too much? So if you just graduated high school and you're heading off to college, or maybe you're already halfway through college, or even if you've already finished college and trying to figure out how you're going to repay your student loans, this video is for you. So there are a couple rules of thumb out there that can help you decipher how much student loans is really too much for you. And where is that point where I'm going to have a really hard time paying these loans back? So the first rule of thumb that I've heard around the way is that you should not take out more than your first year's salary after graduating college. So if you are, let's say, studying accounting and you expect that after graduation you'll find a job that pays you $60,000 a year. So that means for schooling you shouldn't take out more than $60,000 worth of loans. And the rationale is that at that point it becomes really hard to afford your monthly payments on the income that you have. And like I said, these are simply rules of thumb. They are not law. Everybody's situation is different. So even though you might make a lot of money relative to someone else, it doesn't mean that you can necessarily afford to make those types of payments. You might have other obligations and things going on that might prevent you from even making those payments. And how do you know how much to expect as your first year's salary? There are numerous websites that you can go to check what the starting salary is in your given field. You can use sites like Glassdoor or the Bureau of Labor Statistics to help you determine what your starting salary would most likely be coming out of school. And we'll put links to all those websites in the description below. Now, many people are very quick to get on the federal government saying that they shouldn't be writing blind checks out to 18-year-olds who have no idea what they're getting into. However, contrary to popular belief, there is a cap on the amount of student loans that you're allowed to have. Currently, that limit is $31,000 in total for your typical dependent undergraduate student. So even if you take out the maximum amount of loans that you can in your name as an undergraduate student, odds are you're probably still going to be able to afford your student loan payments if you have a job that pays you more than $31,000 a year, which if you're a college educated student, I certainly hope it does. That limit increases if you're a graduate student. In grad school, they give you a total of $20,500. The rationale, I'm sure, being with a graduate degree comes more income opportunities. So even if you take out $51,000, $52,000, typically that will still be less than probably what you're going to be making in your job. So you really don't start getting into major issues until you start talking about things like outside loans, Parent Plus loans, alternative loans, private loans, things that are outside of your federal government loans. That's where you really want to be careful and start thinking about how much you really can afford. So that's a really good rule of thumb to use if you are still in college or partway through college or now entering college, to kind of keep an eye on where your loan balance is at and see how much you can really afford. The second rule of thumb is something that I've actually mentioned before in a previous video when I was doing my student loan exit counseling. And that is that the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau recommends that your student loan payments not exceed 8% of your income. So that's another measure you can use to gauge how much student loans can I really afford to repay. So there's a federal loan repayment estimator on studentloans.gov that you can use if you are already in college, already have some federal loans to your name, and want to get an idea of how your payments would look after graduation. Now, if you've already finished college like me, and it's way too late to go back and say, how much can I really afford? There's hope for you. I definitely took out a lot more in student loans than my starting salary, to say the least. But in spite of that, there is still a way that you can manage to repay your student loans. As you guys know, I took out about $81,000 worth of student loans between undergrad and grad school. And though I haven't begun making my payments yet, because I'm still in my 6-month grace period, those payments will start very soon as of the new year. And so I need to be prepared for what those payments will be. So as a new graduate who's about to enter repayment, you can still use the same repayment estimator that I mentioned earlier, which we'll link in the description below, to determine what your monthly payments would look like under all of the different repayment plans. So as of now, I have chosen to do the extended graduated payment plan. And this payment plan is a 25-year payment plan where your payments start off really low and increase every couple of years. The rationale being that as your income goes up, you can afford to make more payments. 25 years is a long time. That means if I stick with this payment plan, that I'll be still repaying my loans when my future kids are in college, which is crazy. However, that's the plan that I've chosen for now, based on some really important short-term financial goals that I have. And remember, repayment plans for federal loans are pretty flexible and you can pretty much change them at any time. So don't feel like you're locked into one plan. A lot of people also say that income-based repayment plans are like the best thing in the world. However, in my case, it wasn't. The one that resulted in the lowest payment for me at this very moment was the 25-year extended graduated plan. And also, I don't really like surprises. So I don't really like the fact that my income will cause my student loan payments to change from year to year. I like a little bit of stability in my life. But like I said, use the repayment estimator tool and weigh the pros and cons, look at your financial goals, and see which works best for you. Some people may be taking the route of public service loan forgiveness. Because of the career path I've chosen, working for a nonprofit or a government agency is just not in the cards for me. So I knew that that was not an option. However, it might be for someone else. So that's what I have for you guys today. For more information on student loan repayment and the amount of loans you can take out, etc., we will put some links in the description below to some really great resources. Also, leave your student loan questions in the comments below. We would love to hear from you guys. Lastly, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.